Salut et bienvenue or welcome to EBI27 using en and the present participle. So if you're watching this video, it means either in your writing assessment you made an error doing this EBI, but I doubt you would have had a go at it because it's really advanced. So you probably tried to say something along the lines of what this means, but you didn't quite get it, and therefore your teacher's giving you this as an EBI. To be honest, I'm really impressed you're here watching this because this is a pure A-level grammar point. It's not just about tenses. When we look at creating advanced language, things like this, a clause like this requires a lot of skill and a really good knowledge of the language. So if you can use it, it's going to be a complex structure, as the mark scheme says, that will put your work well into the top band. It will help your French as well. This isn't a grammar point that's used a lot in French, but it's a really high level grammar point and you will need to use it. So it's a great part of your repertoire, your arsenal, to have this in the bank and to be able to put this in your works. Today we're looking at en plus the present participle, which they also called a gerundicative clause when I was at school. So this is going to be very intense today. We're going to work through the key questions. I'm going to talk through how it works, give you some examples, and then you're going to have a little go yourself. Donc, on y va. Et voilà mes petits. Right guys, so today rather than key questions, I've got like sentences to complete. These are the 4 key things you'll need to remember if you want to use a gerund in your GCSE or in your A-level work. So I'm going to work through these sentences one by one to show you how it works and hopefully to develop your understanding. Now's a good time to point out my extra challenge at the bottom. This is really advanced today, guys. So I've said make a revision poster on gerunds answering all the key questions. What you might want to do is on like an A3 sheet of paper, copy out these key questions and complete them as you go in, and then like draw and like watch the explanations and copy down key things. Completely down to you. This is what I used to do with grammar because it's just so much to remember in French. I always used to make revision notes and posters and test myself on them, and now I don't really think about grammar, it just comes out of my mouth. So I really advise you to do that. That's your extra challenge today. You don't need to do it. In terms of your red pen, I want you to be able to answer these 4 questions and do the activities on this worksheet and your daily test. So let's work through, let's see if we can answer all these questions. Alors, so sentence 1, what do we use these gerunds, this grammar point for? So the key concept here, concept clé, is that we use gerunds to say, when you want to say, I do something by verbing or whilst verbing something. So by doing, by playing, by thinking, or whilst watching, whilst playing, whilst doing. If you want to say by verbing or whilst verbing, you need to use this in French. So it's quite confusing. Let me work through 3 examples. Voilà, ici, j'ai 3 phrases. What I want you to do is see if you can translate them. So you don't have to write them down, just say it in your head. Do you know what all 3 of these mean? Can you work it out? Put me on pause and we'll see what we've got. Alors mes petits, so remember this key concept. We're saying by verbing or whilst verbing. So let's look at the first one together. En faisant mes devoirs, je vais faire des progrès. Ce qui veut dire, by doing my homework, I'm going to make progress. You see what I mean? Numéro 2, je me suis cassé le bras en jouant au foot. Ce qui veut dire, I broke my arm whilst playing football. So remember, it's got those 2 key meanings, by verbing and whilst verbing. Our last one, en rangeant ma chambre, j'ai chanté, whilst cleaning my room, I sang. Et voilà, this is what we're learning today. So if you're going to take anything away from this video, is that gerunds mean by verbing or whilst verbing. If you want to say by doing this, I'm going to do that, or while I was doing this, I did that, you need to use a gerund in French. Alors mes enfants, right guys, so we have looked at question 1, what they actually mean. What does a gerund translate to? Put me on pause, see if you can fill in those 2 gaps now. If you can't, you're going to have to rewind and watch what we just talked about. If you can, pause me, I'm going to go through the answers in a second. Alors mes petits, so gerunds mean by verbing or whilst verbing. If you ever want to express that, you need to use a gerund. So let's have a look at the next ones. How do you form a gerund? What do you need to do? This is where it gets really, really tricky. If you are doing our extra challenge, this is where you're going to be busy. Alors mes petits, so there's a few steps that you'll need to master to be able to create a gerund. The first thing, the most important thing, you always start with en. Now this word you've seen loads in different contexts. Here is how we say, or in this phrase, when used with the rest of it, it means whilst or by. So you always need this in front of your verb. There is never a subject, je, tu, il, elle. No, you cannot use them for a gerund. It's completely different. So you never use a subject, you always use en. And then we need to get our verb saying ing, or yeah, so to do that, there's a few steps. First off, this is a tricky one. You have to take the new form of the present tense. This is how to form a stem. Do you remember what a stem is? A stem is the part of the verb we take for a tense or for a conjugation like this. So here you take the new form. We obviously get rid of the new because we don't need it. We've got en instead, and we get rid of the ons, and this gives us our stem. Why the new form? Because it changes a lot of verbs. As you can see, finir, you just get rid of the ons, so it's finis. Prendre changes to prénom, just get rid of the ons. The new form changes the verbs differently, as you should know, because there's a tense where you take the new form and add on the endings. What tense is that? The imperfect. So the new form changes the verb. So for every verb, take the new form, take just the ons off. There's 3 irregulars you need to know, and then you whack on, there we go, then you whack on an ant. Now whenever, you won't see this at GCSE, but at A level you'll see this, whenever you see a verb with an ant on the end, it's like an ing in English. So jouons is playing, finissons is finishing, prénom is taking. Whenever you see an ant, it's ing in English on the end of a verb. You need to know this, A-levelers. So those are our steps. You need en at the start. Never have je, tu, il, elle. You can't do that. So en, take the new form, take off the ons, and then add that ant ending and put it all together, and you've got your way of saying by playing, whilst finishing, etc. Donc en jouant means by playing or whilst playing. En finissant is by finishing or whilst finishing. En prenant is by taking or whilst taking. This is a gerund. Those are the most difficult parts of it. Now, if you're really struggling with this, I'm not surprised, because this is tough, particularly if you're a GCSE student. Even if you're going for a 9 at GCSE, a gerund is going to be really hard to do. So what you might want to do is, just for the short-term solution, just learn a few key verbs in this form and then try and slip them into your work. So en apprenant, by learning. En faisant, by doing. En parlant, by speaking. En jouant, by playing. En travaillant, whilst or by working. All of these are really key verbs that you can use and you can put in your work. So if this is a bit too much for you, this A-level French, and it's driving you mad, just learn a few verbs with the gerund like this, and then try and put them into your work. Even if it's not quite right, the examiner is going to love you going for this complex A-level French. Alors mes petits, right guys, so let's see what you know. Put me on pause, see if you can complete these sentences. We've done them all. When you think you're ready, restart the video. I'll go through the answers one by one, and then we'll put you to the test. Pause me now, see if you can answer these questions. Alors mes petits, let's go through them before we put you to the test. So you use a gerund to say by verbing or whilst verbing. Step 1, you need en. You never have je, tu, il, elle. That doesn't exist here. You just take en, and this means by or whilst. Then you take the new form of the verb, you chop off the ons, and then how do you get that ing? You need to add ant to the end. Any verb you see with an ant on the end means ing in English. Right, this is complex. These are the key rules. Let's put you to the test. Let's have a go and see if we can create some. Et voilà mes petits, donc ce qu'il faut faire maintenant, travaillez dans vos cahiers roses et prenez un stylo rouge pour moi. Alors donc, ici, j'ai 1, 2, 3 phrases en anglais. Il faut traduire les phrases en français pour vous aider. Je vous ai donné la première lettre ici. Par exemple, I ate the breakfast while watching TV. J'ai mangé le petit déjeuner, etc. Alors donc, il faut traduire les phrases en utilisant les lettres pour vous aider. Attention, the bit in blue is our gerund that we've been looking at today. This is going to be really, really tough. Remember, this is A-level French. These sentences have got some vocabulary in it. See what you can do. Take your time. If you want to look up some vocab, if you don't know, it's absolutely fine on this activity. This is intense. The important thing is you're having a go and you're trying at these gerunds. It doesn't matter if you get all of these wrong today. You'll see there's no traffic light target. Doesn't matter if you get every single one wrong. The important thing today is you're just thinking and trying to find out how to use this grammar point. There's a really, really tough extra challenge down here as well. So put me on pause. Give yourself at least a minute a question. I'd say over. I'd say 6 minutes, yeah? 2 minutes per question, not including the extra challenge. 6 minutes. Put me on pause. See if you can translate these, and then when you think you're done, you want the answers, recommencez la vidéo and I'll go through them. Good luck guys, you're going to need it. Tu en as besoin, hein? Bon courage, on y va. Alors, right guys, if you're watching me now, you're ready for our answers. How did you get on? Right, remember, I don't mind. It really doesn't matter if you got all of these wrong. If you got 1 or 2 right, I think you've done exceptionally well today. So let's look at the first one. I ate breakfast whilst watching TV. Okay, so the whilst watching is the bit we're targeting today. This is our gerund. This is what we need to work out. So let's do this bit first, yeah? So whilst, I need the word en for like by or whilst, and then it's nous regardons to get my stem. Get rid of the nous, get rid of the ons. I've got regarde, and then stick the ant on the end. So this is whilst watching, en regardant with the ant. So that's the tough bit. I just have to put the rest together. Here we go. J'ai mangé le petit déjeuner en regardant la télé. If you got that, you've done exceptionally well today. Bon effort. If you haven't, if you got this bit wrong, think back to our rules. You need en, new form, take off the ons and ant. Alors voilà, on a fait le premier déjà. Numéro 2. I earn money by working in the supermarket. So it's again, this is the bit that's the gerund. This is our challenge for today. By working, to say by, I need the en, and then it's travailler, changes to nous travaillons. Take off the ons, it's a nice regular verb, so it's en travaillant. That's the tough bit. Put it all together. Je gagne de l'argent en travaillant au supermarché. If you got some of these bits wrong, that's fine. It's all about the en travaillant. If you got this bit right, give yourself the mark. Alors, numéro 3. By speaking French, we can communicate. This is tough. So again, this is the tough bit. By speaking, parler is the verb to speak. It changes to nous parlons to get rid of that ons, and PARL is my stem. You need to say whilst or by, so put en at the front, ant at the end, and then put it all together. En parlant le français, on peut communiquer. Excellent if you got that one. 3 down. If you had a go at the extra challenge, I'm really impressed with your effort. This is going to be tough. Alors, so there's a tough bit here. By listening to Mr. Ennis, you will be able to. That's another tough bit. It's in a different tense and it's a modal verb, which I think is EBI29. So if you didn't get this bit, that's another fun video for you to watch. And then easily we've got a nice adverb here. There's 3 nasty bits in this sentence. This is far advanced from any GCSE translation. This is more like the A-level one, but they're always on crazy concepts. So let's have a look. Listening. So écouter is the verb to listen. So it changes to nous écoutons. Get rid of the ons. So I've got en écoutant. So we've got en écoutant Mr. Ennis, on pourra obtenir note 9. If you put grade 9, I'll allow it facilement. Right, guys, if you got close to this extra challenge, you've done really, really well. I'll be particularly happy with this because we're not actually talking or testing you on this today. If you're not sure why it's this, you need to watch EBI29, guys. This is a really advanced piece of French as well. Give yourself the tick if you're close. I want the en écoutant. Et voilà. Right, guys, this is what the gerund's been all about. Let's just test you at the end. avec les questions clés. So, you know how this works. Put me on pause, see if you can fill in all these gaps. If you can, you have succeeded on the video. If not yet, just watch back, have a little look through, and then come back to this. Put me on pause, answer the questions or complete the phrases, and then restart me when you want me to go through the answers. Alors mes enfants, right guys, so let's finish this video off, let's go through it. So we use gerunds to say by verbing or whilst verbing. Step 1, you need en, and this is how you say by or whilst in this form. Step 2, you take the new form present tense, chop off the ons, and then you add an ant, which means ing. So put all those together and you have a gerund. Guys, a really, really good effort today. This is such an advanced piece of grammar, so an excellent effort if you followed us. We're not quite done yet. You've still got a daily test to do in your book. The next slide will explain how they work if you don't know already. Alors, merci. Thank you for watching this. I hope it's helped you out. It's been quite hard to explain. Alors donc, merci tout le monde et à la prochaine fois. Au revoir. Your next step is your daily test. So, your French teacher will have set you this for your homework. You've got your daily test booklet. Do not write in the booklet. What I want you to do, step 1, is in your pink books, copy out this box, copy out all the questions, copy out all the answers, and then copy out the blank test next to it. Then you're going to revise all the answers here, so you're going to spend your time learning this, make sure you master it. Once you've got it, this is what I want you to do. Cover up the answers, make sure you can't see them, and then in the blank test that you've copied out, take out your red pen, see if you can answer all of these questions and see if you can fill in any boxes. Then once you've done that, uncover this and look at what you've done and mark up your work. What have you got right? What have you got wrong? And then have a look. This is the ideal bit. Rinse and repeat. Go back to the start, revise the answers again, and then test yourself again, and then revise again, and then test again, and then mark again, and repeat until you've absolutely cracked it. And then if you've cracked it, say you started Monday and by Tuesday you know it off by heart, great. I bet you by Friday you will have forgotten it again. It's called a daily test because we want you to do it once every day, and the best students do this. Test yourself every day. If you can do it for 5 consecutive days in a row and get 100%, you've cracked it, you've got it, you've done it. So that is your homework for next time. Your extra challenge, guys, is to make a revision poster on this. So why don't you watch the video again, pause it, make a poster, make it look amazing, stick it up in your room or show it to your French teacher, show to make sure you've mastered this. This is EBI7. It is so important. Hopefully now you're happy and you can crack it. Thank you for watching. À bientôt. Au revoir.